Hello all, this is Math for Unit 1, Lesson 2, Honors Hints. I'm Mrs. Farrell, and let's move on with these hints. So this first question is about snow melting, which we don't know much about in Southern California, but there is some snow sometimes in the mountains. So this one says that the initial temperature of the snow is -5 degrees Celsius, and after a half hour, the snow increases in temperature at a linear rate until it gets to 0 degrees Celsius. Then the next 8 hours, the snow slowly melts with the water collecting in a puddle. So the temperature, it's important to note, at that time is not changing. All the energy is going into the snow melting. Then it says, suppose also that once it is melted, the temperature of the water increases at half the rate as that of the snow for 1/2 hour. It wants you to write a piecewise linear function for this temperature and over a 9-hour span, and then sketch the graph of that function. So last hints video, we looked at piecewise functions. So hopefully you've been able to look at piecewise functions already. However, I have a hint for you on a Khan Academy video. You can look if you need further help with piecewise functions. So here's a part A hint. The first part is to split your function up into pieces. How many pieces will there be? In other words, how many different melting rates or different categories will you have in your table? You can use minutes or hours, but make sure that you're taking that into account when you're writing your function rule. Okay, hint number 2 is the second piece is a little bit tricky. Like I said before, notice that during the 8 hours when the snow is melting, the temperature is not changing at all. So be careful of that. I would start by filling out some sort of table like this, where you chunk the pieces of the function into different parts, and you put the temperature during those times in the other parts. Okay, so your third hint is once you figure out what the pieces of the domain, in other words, your x values or time, should be, find a function for each piece. You're going to need to find the slope and the y-intercept because it's a linear function that's given to you in the problem, and then write the equation for that section. Then you're going to write it using function notation with a fancy bracket. Again, here's a video you can watch if you need some help with that. For part B, once you have each function designed, you can use Desmos to graph it. You can use the past video to help you see how to have domain restrictions on Desmos so you can only do each piece of the function. And then after that, think about describing the graph by thinking about the rate of change of melting during each section of time. And I have a little sentence frame that can help you get started on this. So you want to say something like, from this time to this time, the water or ice is changing temperature at a rate of whatever the rate is, and this is happening because ... So whatever's happening in the real life situation that causes that rate of change. All right, you got this. Have fun.